कर्माणि तद्यायुः तन्मनोवचः नृणां येणः विश्वात्मा सेव्यते हरिरीश्वरः किं जन्मभिः त्रिभिर्वेह शौक्लसावित्रयञ्जिकैः कर्मभिर्वात्रये प्रोक्तैः पुंसोऽपि विबुधायुषा श्रुत्रेण तपसा वा किं वचोभिः चित्तवृत्तिभिः बुद्ध्या वा किं निपुणया बलेनेन्द्रियराधसा किं वा योगेन साङ्ख्येन न्यासस्वाध्याययोरपि किं वा श्रेयोभिरन्यैश्च नायत्रात्मप्रदो हरिः श्रेयसामपि सर्वेषाम् आत्मह्यप्त्यादिरर्थतः सर्वेषामपि भूतानां हरिरात्मा आत्मदप्रियः यतातरोर्मूलनिषेचनेन तृप्यन्ति तत्स्कन्दभुजोपशाखाः प्राणोपहाराचयतेन्द्रियाणां तथैव सर्वार्हणम् अच्युतेज्य यतेव सूर्यात् प्रभवन्ति वारः पुनश्च तस्मिन् प्रविशन्ति काले भूतानि भूमोस्त्रिरजङ्गमाणि तथाहरावेव गुणप्रवाहः एतत्पदं तज्जगदात्मनः परं सुकृद्विभातं सवितुर्यथा प्रभा यथासवो जागृति सुप्तशक्तयो द्रव्यक्रियाज्ञानविदा ब्रह्मात्ययः यथा नभसि अप्रात्मप्रकाश भवन्ति भूपो न भवन्ति अनुक्रमात् एवं परे ब्रह्मणि शक्तयस्त्वमो रजस्तमः सत्त्वमिति प्रवाहः तेनैकमात्मानमशेषदेहिनां कालं प्रदानां पुरुषं परेशं स्वतेजसाध्वस्तगुणप्रवाहम् आत्मैकभावेन भजत्वमाधा ध्याया सर्वभूतेषु सन्तुष्ट्या येन केण वा सर्वेन्द्रियोपसंशान्त्या च तुष्यति आशु जनार्दनः अपहता सकलैक्षाणि अमलात्मनि अवैरतमेदित भवनोपहूतः निज जन वशगतत्वम् आत्मनोऽयं न सरति चिद्रवत् अक्षकर हि न भजति कुमनीषिणां स इज्यां हरिः अदनात्मधनप्रियो रञ्जसः श्रुतधनकुलकर्मणाम् अधैर्ये विदधति पापम् अचिङ्क्षणेषु सत्सु श्रियम् अनुचरतीं तदन्ति अर्तिनश्च दिवि पदपतीन् विबुधांश यत्स्वपूर्णः न भजति निजभृत्यवर्गतन्त्रः कथममुम् उदिविसृजत् पुमान् कृताङ्ग्यः मैत्रेय उवाच इति प्राचेतसो राजन् अन्याश्च भगवत्कथाः श्रावयित्वा ब्रह्मलोकं ययो स्वायम्भुवो मुनिः ते अपि तन्मुख निर्यतां यशो लोकमलापहम् हरे निशम्य तत्पादं ध्यायन्तः तद्गतिं ययुः एतत् अभिहितं क्षतः यन्मां त्वां परिपृष्टवान् प्राचेतसां नारदस्य संवादं हरिकीर्तनं श्रीशुक उवाच य एष उत्तानपादो मानवस्यानुवर्णितः वंशप्रियव्रतस्यापि निबोध नृपसत्तम यो नारदादात्मविद्याम् अधिगम्य पुनर्महिम् भुक्त्वा विभज्य पुत्रेभ्य ऐश्वर्यं समगात्पदम् इमां तु कौशार विनोपवर्णितां शतानिशम्याजितवाद सत्कथां प्रवृद्ध भावो अश्रु कलाकुलो मुनेः ददार मूर्धा चरणं हृदा हरेः विदुर उवाच सो अयं मध्य महायोगन् भवता करुणात्मना दर्शितः तमसा पारो यत्र किञ्चन गोहरिः श्रीशुक उवाच इति यान्नम्यतमामन्त्य विदुरो गजसः वयं स्वानां दिदुक्षुः प्रययौ ज्ञातीनां निवृताशयः एतद्य शृणुयात् राजन् राज्ञां हर्यार्पितात्मनाम् आयुर्धनं यशस्वस्ति कतिम् ऐश्वर्यमाप्नुयात् श्री हरिये नमः श्री हरिये नमः श्री हरिये नमः इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां चतुर्थस्कन्धे एकत्रिंशोऽध्यायः अथ चतुर्थस्कन्ध समाप्तः श्री हरिये नमः श्री हरिये नमः श्री हरिये नमः गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्दा गोविन्दा सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय श्री गुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं राधे राधे।
ராதே
ராதே
ராதே.
அம்மா we'll take a break அம்மா. இப்ப பாராயணம் பிரேக்
ஓ,
எடுத்து இப்ப
ஓ,
பிரவச்சன்
சரி சரி சரி
அதுக்கப்புறம் பாராயணம் அம்மா.
சரி சரி.
தேங்க்யூம்மா.
ம்.
ராதே ராதே. ஸோ நம்ம வந்து கேண்டோ 4 கம்ப்ளீட் பண்ணிட்டோம். அது அழகா நாரதமுனி எப்படி பிராச்சீன வர்க்கெல்லாம் இது உபதேசம் பண்றார். அதுல ஒரு ஸ்லோகம் சொல்றார், ஒருத்தருக்கு 3 ஜென்மம் இருக்கு. ஒண்ணு அம்மா அப்பாட்ட பிறக்கிற ஜென்மம், 2வது ஜென்மம் எப்ப கிடைக்கணும், நம்ம குரு தர்சனம் எப்ப குருவோட தர்சனம் கிடைச்சி குருவோடைய அனுகிரகம் கிடைக்கிறதோ அப்ப 2வது ஜென்மமா. 3வது ஜென்மம் எப்பன்னா இந்த குரு தர்சனம் கிடைச்சிட்டு எப்ப நம்ம மைண்ட் ஃபுல்லா பகவான் கிருஷ்ணன்ட்டையே நம்ம மைண்ட இது பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம், அவருக்கே பூஜை பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம், அவரை பத்தியே பேசிட்டு இருக்கோம், அதே மாதிரி பாகவதம் படிச்சுட்டு இருக்கோம், கதா கேட்கிறோம், அவரை சிரவணம் பண்றோம். ஸோ அப்பதான் 3வது ஜென்மம் கிடைக்கிறது. அந்த மாதிரி 3 ஜென்மம் இருக்கா நம்ம இதுல மாதிரி சொல்லிட்டு போறார். ஸோ 4th canto complete பண்ணிட்டோம். நம்ம வில் மூவ் டு பிரவச்சன் ஃப்ரம் கதாதரன்ஜி. டுடே வெரி ரொம்ப 2 இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் ஸ்துதி, ஸ்டார்டிங் ஸ்துதி தட் வி ஹாவ், குந்தி ஸ்துதி அண்ட் பீஷ்ம ஸ்துதி. ஸோ அதை பத்தி we're going to hear பிரவச்சன். Over to you, கதாதரன்ஜி.
ராதே ராதே. கோபிகா ஜீவனஸ்மரணம் கோவிந்தா கோவிந்தா. சத்குருநாத் மகாராஜ் கி ஜெய். கலயே சுந்தராகாரம் சதைக பிரியதர்சனம் அஜ்ஞானநாசகம் தேவம் சத்குரும் முரளீதரம் முரளீமண்டிதகரகமலம் முனிஜனமோகனம் व्यद्यस्तपादं वनमालाधारिणं प्रेम भक्तमण्डल नित्यकीर्तितं प्रेमिकवरदं आश्रयेऽहं जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनं श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखातमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपापप्रणाशनं प्रणामो दुःखशमनः तं नमामि हरिं परं। यस्य श्रवणमात्रेण कृष्णभक्तिः प्रजायते वैष्णवानां धनं पुण्यं श्रीमद्भागवतं भजे। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविंदा गोविंदा। Our Guru Maharaj would generally tell that Srimad Bhagavatam as a collection of several stotras. If you see in each canto, you will be noticing that each bhakta's story will be given in each canto. Likewise, if each bhakta's story is given, there will be a relation where the bhakta has had darshan of Bhagavan. So if he has a darshan of Bhagavan, because he will be praying for it. If you see, for example, in Dhruva Charitra, he is doing a tapas for 5 months so that in order to see Bhagavan. So immediately when there is a Bhagavad darshanam, Bhagavan is a person who is always pleased on hearing stotras. Moreover, it is also only Bhagavan whom we must do stotram on. Because if you do a stotram or if you praise someone who is a normal human being, it is not valid. Why? Because there is a tendency for that person to change. Because the qualities that are within a human, normal human, keeps on changing depending upon his swabhavam or depending on the environment in which he is present. So Bhagavan is the only person who doesn't change, who is always constant. So the only guy who is suitable to perform a stotram or tell a stotram on is Bhagavan. That's why in Vishnu Sahasranamam also, Stavyas Tava Priya Stotraha Stuti Stotharana Priyaha. Here, Stavyas Tava Priyaha Stotraha. Here, the first nama itself, Stavyaha. Stavyaha means a person for whom praises can be performed. Because it is Bhagavan alone who is capable of accepting those praises or stotras. Because he is the only guy who is constant. If you perform a stotram or if you perform a praise on Bhagavan, it will remain constant. For example, if you take a human being, if you praise him that he is a great Dana Prabhu, he is a very dharmic person, he will do lot of charities. Once, if he lost all his money, then he can't be called such a person, right? Because that character or that quality of performing charities will be stopped because he himself has become poor. So for if we take in that case of Bhagavan is Shriyapati. So his wealth will never get demolished or never get reduced. So that name will be suitable only for Bhagavan. Likewise, each and everything is suitable only for Bhagavan. So praises can always be done towards Bhagavan alone. That's why in Bhagavatam, all the praises, if you see, or stotras, it is related to Bhagavan itself. In Prithu Charitra, Prithu himself states, don't do or don't say praises on normal human beings because they have a quality or tendency of changing. But Bhagavan is the only constant one. So stotras can be performed or can be told to Bhagavan alone. So that's why Bhagavatam, if we see, there is a collection of several stotras. In each and every canto, there are some stotras or some stutis that each and bhakta chant in front of Bhagavan, and it is a great treasure for us because when we are in such a situation or we are in any other situation, we can chant those stotras and obtain the blessings of Bhagavan. So there are several stotras in Bhagavatam, and namely 5 stotras are taken by Mahatmas as 5 ratnas, as 5 gems from it. That is Kunti Stuti, Bhishma Stuti, Dhruva Stuti, Prahlada Stuti, and Gajendra Stuti. In those 5, the first 2 stotras, the first 2 stutis, Kunti Stuti and Bhishma Stuti, is going to be, we are going to see it today. Kunti Stuti and Bhishma Stuti are from the same family, because Kunti is from the Bhishma are from the same family. So they have a great bhagyam or a blessing that they were in the time of Krishna.
Hello?
Because if you see Dhruva Stuti, in Dhruva Stuti, Dhruva is doing tapas and then Bhagavan comes in front of him and then he does a stuti. But in Kunti Stuti and Bhishma Stuti, it's not so. Bhagavan Krishna's time period is their time period also. So Kunti and Stuti are related, Kunti and Bhishma are related to Krishna also. So they are doing beautiful stuti. This comes in the first canto, 8th chapter, Kunti Stuti. Kunti starts that Namastye Purusham Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakritev Param Alaksham Sarva Bhutanam Antarbahiravasthitam. Likewise, Kunti starts a stuti. It consists of 26 shlokas. In Kunti Stuti, what is the essence or what is the saram of Kunti Stuti means? Kunti is a lady. That lady is a family lady. She is having a family of 5 children. And when these children are born, immediately she loses her husband. So she is in a very big despair and very difficulties in order to bring those 5 children up in their life. So she is in such a, we can say that, a normal Laukika family lady. So in her stuti, she instead of mentioning the Rupa Varnana, or instead of mentioning the beauty of Krishna, or instead of mentioning the beauty of his name, she is not, instead of mentioning that, she mentions the difficulties that she faced in our life, because she is such a lady. a normal household lady. So she is mentioning her difficulties. On mentioning that, she says how Bhagavan has helped her and Bhagavan has made her to come out of all those difficulties. Thereby she tells Bhagavan that I am grateful to you. So that's why if you see the first word in Kunti Stuti, it's Namasye. She initially bows towards Bhagavan and starts the Stuti. This is the beauty in Kunti Stuti, because initially the first word itself is a Namaste or a Vandanam to Bhagavan. She initially speaks of the greatness of Bhagavan, like he is Adi Purusha, he is Parama Purusha, he is Abhav Maya, he has taken Maya as a screen and he has covered himself and come down to this world as a normal human being. That's why we can't understand him. Likewise, she is starting her Stuti, and then Bhagavan sees, because Bhagavan is in front of Kunti, and he says to Kunti, Kunti also mentions that how can a normal lady like me can understand you? And Kunti does a big stuti of Bhagavan's greatness, which is all in the Upanishads. So Krishna says, always the sages or the rishis are always talking about these Upanishad kind of stotras. That is, I am Prakriti, I am greater than the Prakriti. I am Bhagavan, Sakshat Bhagavan. He is Narayana himself. He is Prakriti Param, Purusham, like that. So Krishna feels that instead of doing stotras of that kind, you do simple stotras. So if you see from the 4th shloka onwards in Kunti Stuti, it becomes as a Namaval. First 3 shlokas talks about the greatness of Bhagavan. From the 4th shloka and 5th shloka, there are 2 things that we can get from these 2 shlokas. The 4th shloka is a Nama Sankirtana, Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. That is a Nama Sankirtan. If you do Nama Sankirtan, immediately what will happen? There Bhagavan comes and gives darshan immediately, because wherever there is Nama Sankirtan, wherever there is bhajana, Bhagavan tells that I am present in that place. Tatra Tishtami Narada. So immediately after chanting Nama, the 5th shloka is a Rupa Varnanaya of Bhagavan. Namav Pankaja Nabhaya, Namav Pankaja Maline, Namav Pankaja Netraya, Namaste Pankajangre. So these 2 shlokas can be taken, because the general prayer in Bhagavata Dharma is these two things. The first one is always my tongue should be chanting your divine names. That is Krishnaya, Vasudevaya, Devaki, Nandanaya cha, Nandagopa Kumaraya, Govindaya, Namo Namaha. Always we have to chant Krishna, 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 the Nama, or Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare. Always my tongue should be chanting your divine name. Second thing is, always my heart or always my mind should be thinking of your divine form. That's the next shloka. Namav Pankaja Nabhaya, Namav Pankaja Maline, Namas Pankaja Netraya, Namaste Pankajangte. All your parts of the body are like Tamara or like a lotus. Namav Pankaja Nabhaya, your Nabi is like a Pankajam. Your mukham is like, your face is like a pankajam, your hands are like pankajam, your feet are like pankajam. That's what in Kamba Ramayanam, Kamban explains Rama as Karumugil Tamarai Kadu Pooth. That means how Bhagavan is like a entire forest full of lotus flowers, because his eyes, his face, his hands, his nabi, his feet, everything are like lotuses. So he explains in such a way. That's what is told here also by Kunti. She explains the Bhagavan's Rupam as entirely made of lotuses, and she asked these 2 things. That is, without saying that outward, she is asking these 2. That is, first thing, I have to always chant your name, and I have to always have your divine form in my heart. If these 2 are not there, then such a life is considered as death. That is the prarthana of Kunti here, because in Bhagavata Sampradayam we have 3 great Mahans who consider as our gurus. That is Bhagavan Nama Bodhendral, Sridhar Ayyawal and Sadguru Swamigal. Sridhar Ayyawal, in one of his stotras, he mentions this thing. That is, I have to have always your divine name in my tongue and the divine form in my heart. If such a day is, if I don't have these two things in my life, then that day should be my death day. So here Kunti tells these two, and she prays to Bhagavan that I must always have your divine name in my tongue and the form in my heart. Then in the next shloka, she speaks about the compassion of Bhagavan, comparing with Vasudeva and Devaki. They have also undergone lot of hardships, right? Before Bhagavan was born, 6 of her children were being killed by Kamsa. All of them were being born in jail. They were undergoing lot of hardships and problems. But while comparing with Kunti, while comparing with Vasudeva and Devaki, Kunti says that my problems are also there. But while comparing myself and your parents, I think you are even more fond of our family only instead of your parents. You have kept your parents also in a second place, and you are considering our family as the primary for you. That's why in Mahabharata, Krishna says, Mama pranahi pandavaha. Whom do you think Pandavas are? Each person has 5 pranas: pranan, apanan, vyanan, udanan, samanan. Likewise, for Krishna, these 5 pranans are Pandavas, it seems. So he says, Pandavas are my 5 pranas. So I have to save them. How I protect my prana? Because my life or my prana is really important for me, right? Likewise, Krishna, you have saved my family in each and every obstacles that has come in our life. That too, each obstacle will not be coming as single obstacle. It does not come one by one. It comes as a bunch. It comes as a bunch and it attacks our family. And in each and every situation, you are there to protect us. That's what she says in the next shloka. Vishan mahagnehe urushada darshanat asat sabhayam vanavasa krichrataha mridhe mridhe aneka maharatastrato draunyastra tachasva hare bhirakshitaha. She mentions each and every obstacle or each and every accident that she has come across. First, she says Vishat, that is in the Arakumali, that is the kingdom of wax. They have the Pandavas were there, and fire was kept to that big palace in the night. So they have to run for their life. Vishat Mahagnehe, that is Mahagnehe. Vishat, one Bhima was a small child. Bhima was given Vesham, that is poison, in a small koyakata, that is in a sweet. So Bhima would have left his life at that time itself. Bhima would have been died. But he is alive now because of your grace. Vishat Mahagnehe Purushata Darshanat. Thereby, after from the wax palace, when they went to the forest, there were several Rakshasas and several demons that were troubling them. So Krishna helped them in that situation also. So Purushat Adarshanat. Then in the great Sabha of King Dhritarashtra, Draupadi was undergoing a great problem of removing her sari in front of all the people there. So Draupadi's Manabanga happened there. So Asat Sabhayam, instead of mentioning it in detail, she tells in a single word as Asat Sabhayam. All the people there are really bad people, Asat Sabhayam, who knows Dharma and they don't follow it. Because instead of, if you don't know Dharma and if you don't follow, that's not a big mistake. Because there's an excuse there that we don't know Dharma and we have not followed it. But in the case of Drona, or in the case of Dronacharya, in the case of Bhishma Pitamaha, or in the case of Dhritarashtra, or all the other people there in the great Sabha, they all know Dharma. They all know what is the dharmic path, even though they have not followed it. So that's why it is called as Asat Sabhayam Vanavasa Krichrataha. How many hardships that we have to face in the Vanavasa, that is in the forest. Mridhe Mridhe Aneka Maharathastra. So the great battle of Mahabharata, where we have to undergo a lot of problems. And each and every warrior would be showing their majestic powers. And each and in every case, Krishna, you are there and protecting my child Arjuna. So how this battle has been won? Not because of the power of the Pandavas, Finally, she says, Kevayam Nama Rupabhyam. They were just present for their namesake, like Arjuna, Bhima, Dharma, Nakula, and Sahadeva. There was no purpose, or they didn't win the war by their valor. They won the war because of the presence of Krishna. Krishna, you were there and you fought the war for our sake. Since you were there, we have won the war. Not alone the war, in each and every case, since you were present in our family, you were there. If we call out Krishna, you will be immediately present in front of us, and you will protect us from all the difficulties. That is the reason why we are alive now. Not in the just before, Ashwatthama has attacked the Garbham of Uttara Devi, where Parikshit is yet to be born, with Brahmastra. And in this situation also, Drauniyastra Tachasma Hare Abhirakshitaha, you protect us, right? So from this, I have understood one thing. This is the essence of Kunti Stuti, this shloka. Vipadaha Santudashashvat Tatra Tatra Jagadguro Bhavato Darshanam Yatsyat Apunar Darshanam. So we have two things in our life. One is we have a happy Sukham and Dukham. That is, we have these two things in our life which occur alternatively. One, we will be living a very happy and cheerful life. Immediately next time we will undergo a hardship. Again we will have a happy life. Again we will undergo a hardship. Likewise, life is there, right, for all the people. But in this shloka, Kunti does a unique prarthana. That is, I want always hardships to occur in my life. I want always difficulties in my life. Can anyone do such a prarthana? Will anyone be daring to do such a prarthana? Because always what we ask, we should be loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, or ourselves should be really happy, my family should be fine. That is the prarthana of each and every individual life. But here Kunti does a different prayer, that is Vipadaha. Give me again and again, you bestow me with difficulties. Can anyone do such a prarthana? Or we can we can say that if Kunti has undergone a lot of hardships, so that has been a practice for her, so she has asked such a prarthana. No, it's not like that. As she has undergone a lot of hardships, she has understood what really a difficulty or hardship is. Because we have to see it as in a deeper way. If you see what is a vipat, or if you see what is a sampat, sampat is a gain, vipat is a difficulty or a loss. So what is a gain and what is loss? That is, Kunti has really understood that. That is, vipado naiva vipadaha, sampado naiva sampada, vipat vismaranam vishnoho, sampado narayana smritihi. In a situation, if we are in a difficulty, because of that difficulty, if we have forgotten Bhagavan, that is the real difficulty. If we are in a difficult situation, and in that situation gives us the smaranam or remembrance of Bhagavan, then that cannot be considered as a difficulty. It is considered as a gain or great boon. Because if you see in Ramayana, Rama has to go to the forest. Sita is very adamant and she wants Rama to take her also to the forest. Can we consider that as a hardship or a difficulty that they are going to the forest for in the case of Sita? No, because Sita goes along with Rama, so that she tells that how can that be a hardship or how can that be a difficulty for me, because I'm going to be there with you. So that can't be considered as a hardship. But in that forest, while they were in Panchavati, when she sees a golden deer there, on immediately seeing that, she considers that as a sampat. She tells that I have to go and take it and give it to Kausalya Mata after our Vanavasa is completed. She considers that as a gift. She considers that as a boon. She considers that she is very much important, or she likes it very much. So she tells Rama that I want that golden deer. So on that moment, which she thought that which is a gain or a boon for her, but that has caused her separation from Rama. So that is not a gain or a boon. That is actually vipat in the case of Sita. So we have to see that whatever hardships or whatever difficulties comes in our life, if that case, if that difficulty makes us to remember Bhagavan immediately, இந்த கஷ்டம் வந்துருத்தே கிருஷ்ணா அப்படின்னு நம்ம பகவான நினைச்சுட்டோம் அப்படின்னுட்டா immediately we think of Bhagavan, then that can't be considered as a vipat, because that has given us the remember and smarana of Bhagavan, right? The Bhagavan nama has come out from our mouth. So Kunti beautifully prays in this shloka that vipadaha santuna shashvat tatra tatra jagadguro bhavato darshanam yatsyat apunar bhava darshanam. So give me always difficulties or hardships in my life. Let it continue. Let it don't stop that, because there is a bigger gain for me in that, because tatra tatra jagadguro bhavato darshanam yatsyat. Because for me, if a difficulty comes, immediately I will be thinking of you. I will be calling out your name, Krishna. The second advantage is that you will immediately come and stand in front of me. Atta kuptiya abinut. So bhavato darshanam yatsyat. Once you have come, then that hardship or difficulty will be there for me. It will be immediately vanished. So bhavato darshanam yatsyat apunar bhava darshanam. So if you keep on giving me vipats, all that hardships will lead to your darshan again and again. So I want hardships in my life. So this is a beautiful understanding of life by Kunti, because she has undergone a lot of hardships and she even prays for hardships, right? So she has really understood the tatparyam, the essence of how life is and the essence of how one should see life as. So this is beautifully explained by Kunti here, and she praises Bhagavan in several other ways. If you see in the fourth shloka, she has mentioned Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. She has mentioned Vasudeva, she has mentioned Devaki, she has mentioned Nandagopa, she has mentioned Govinda, because Govinda means he's the king for all the Gopas. So all the Gopa Gopikais have been mentioned by Kunti in this shloka, and she has left one name, that is Yashoda. In this shloka, she has not given a space for Yashoda. Why? Because the bhagyam of Yashoda is really great, that Kunti thinks that she has to tell the bhagyam of Yashoda in a separate shloka. That's why she explains that after the 10 shlokas, Gopyadade tvai kritagasidamatavat yate dashashru kalilanjana sambhramaksham vaktram niniya bhayabhavanaya sthitasya samam vimohayati bhirapi yat bhibheti. Krishna, when you are a small child, while you are in Gokulam, once you have done several mischiefs, and Yashoda was forced to tie you to a ural. So on tying you to that, you were really frightened, and as if you pretended to cry and pretended that you were really afraid. Such a state you gave a darshan to Yashoda, right? Yat bibheti swayam bhayam. It is told in another place in Bhagavatam, the first canto, that the nama of Bhagavan itself will make bhayam, the bhaya devata, to get afraid. So the bhaya devata will run frightened. So you don't know how to get frightened. You asked and called that bhaya devata to show your face, so that you can dramatize how you have to be like a frightened guy. So that darshan is there, right? That darshan, I am also seeking that darshan, Krishna, because you have given that darshan to Yashoda. I also want to have such a darshan. That's what she tells here. Samam vimohayati bhirapi yathiveti. Samam vimohayati. On seeing the frightened look on your face, I have undergone moham. I am very much, I have a really great liking to that rupam. Samam vimohayati bhirapi yathiveti. And Kunti finally, she comes to know that always I have been talking about my family. Again about Arjuna, again about Dharmaputra and my family hardships, difficulties. So she finally, in the last, in her stuti, comes to Krishna and tells, Krishna, you remove this attachment from my family. I'm having a great attachment towards my sons and towards my daughter-in-law and towards my entire family. So I'm keep on even having you in front of me, I have been talking about them, that you have been protecting them, you have been saving them, you have come in each and every path along with them in each and every path of their life. So see how my stuti is or how my sthiti is. I have been always talking about my family alone. So that is the attachment towards my family is the main reason for this. So you remove those attachments. So she tells, Tvaime ananya vishaya matihi madhupate asakrite, remove those attachments. Sneha pasha mimam chindi dradham pandushu vrishnishu, and give and bestow me with attachment only towards you. Like how the rivers will flow into the ocean, towards the ocean. Likewise, always my heart should be flowing towards your divine feet. Should always be thinking of your divine feet in whatever state or in whatever situation my life pushes me to. So, Ratihi Mudvahatam Daddha Gange Vauga Mudanvati. She prays to Krishna and finally says, Yogeshwara Akhila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. And Krishna smiles at Kunti and says, you want to come out of the attachment from your family, but who the persons in your family are. They themselves are great Bhagavatas. Because we have two types of bandhus. One Samanya Bandhu and another is Atma Bandhu. Samanya Bandhus are the relatives or the people who are in our family. And Atma Bandhu are those who are Bhagavatas. Thereby, if you see in your family, all the children in your family or your normal bandhus itself are Bhagavatas, so they are your Atma bandhus. So how can I cause to separate you or to have disattachment from them? So I am bestowing you with more attachment towards them, though they are your children, they are Bhagavatas also. So Kunti immediately takes Krishna into the Aranmana, into the palace, and in the next day, Bhishma Pitamaha is there lying in his a bed of arrows.
கதாதரஞ்சி ஒரு 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 கேள்வி கேட்டா குந்தி நீங்க பீஷ்ம ஸ்துதி போறதுக்கு முன்னாடி குந்தி ஸ்துதி பண்ணும்போது ஏன் நம்ம டிஃபிகல்ட்டி டைம்ல மட்டும்தான் பகவான் நினைக்கணும் அந்த மாதிரி அவளுக்கு டிஃபிகல்ட்டி வரும்போது பகவான நிறைய நினைச்சிருந்தா பகவான் வந்து காப்பாத்தினார் அதனால எனக்கு டிஃபிகல்ட்டியே கொடுன்னு சொல்றா பட் அது கேட்காம எப்போதுமே ஒன் ஸ்மரணமே இருக்கட்டும் டிஃபிகல்ட் டைமோ நான் டிஃபிகல்ட் டைமோ லைக் 24/7 365 டேஸும் உன் ஸ்மரணமே இருக்கணும் பகவான் அப்படி கேட்கலாமே அப்படின்னு கேட்கிறா லைக் அது ஏன் டிஃபிகல்ட்டியே நிறைய கேட்கிறா குந்தி அப்படின்னு
why she is mentioning difficulty and asking for Bhagavad darshan அப்படி கேக்குறான்னு கேக்குறாங்க
இல்ல இல்ல இன்ஸ்டெட் ஆல்வேஸ் ஹேவ் பகவத் ஸ்மரணம்
ஓகே
பகவத் ஸ்மரணமே இருந்துட்டா இருக்கணும் எப்போதுமே அப்படி கேட்டிருக்கலாமே பட் டிஃபிகல்ட்டி கொடுத்து அப்புறம் அந்த ஸ்மரணம் வரணும்னு ஏன் கேட்கறா அப்படி
இல்ல அவ வந்து she is not asking for difficultyன்றது she is mentioning because she has gained Bhagavad darshan or Bhagavad smarana through those difficulties. So that is her experience. That's why she is making stotra or she is telling stotra in such a way. Definitely she could have asked for Bhagavad darshan directly or Bhagavad smarana directly. I have to always be thinking about your divine feet. I must always be thinking about you. Itself is enough. But if you see, the difficulty has given her greater remembrance of Bhagavan. We have to consider it in such a way. If it is a normal day, we would go to the temple and see Bhagavan and come back. If we are in a really or if we are really in a problem, then what we will be doing, our prayers or our the intensity of the prayer will be more. So she tells that I need a difficulty. So instead of chanting, if we are in a difficult situation, we will be chanting 1000 namas, Bhagavan nama. If we are in a normal day, we would have felt that if we chant 100 namas, that would be enough. So she mentions her difficulty. We can consider it in two ways because that is her path, how she has come across. So she mentions that. Moreover, the intensity will be more if we are in a difficult situation. So moreover, Bhagavan will be rushing towards us if we are in a difficult situation also. Because Gajendra shouted Bhagavan's name when he was in a difficulty and Bhagavan rushed towards him. So that can also be considered here. So she mentions difficulty first and then asks for Bhagavad Darshan.
Smarana is not enough for her. She wants to see him in person. Attadane.
Yes,
Radhe,
sir.
Radhe.
Thank you. Radhe, Radhe. Thank you. Sir.
Okay, okay. Shall I continue?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. Now we move on to Bhishma Stuti. Bhishma Stuti is Stuti told by Bhishma the Yogeshwara. Sorry, Yogeshwara. He's a great yogi and he's a great brahmachari. In this stotra, he is in his last stages of his life. He is going to leave his life after this Stuti and after seeing Bhagavan. So he mentions, because he mentions in his Stuti, if you consider his Stuti, this Stuti will generally be about the 10 days of the Yuddham that he fought in the Mahabharata war. Because Bhishma was close to Krishna in those 10 days. Since Arjuna and Bhishma were fighting, so Krishna has to be with, was the charioteer for Arjuna. So Bhishma had a great bhagyam of seeing Krishna for all those 10 days, sitting closer to him. So he was really happy and he does this stotra. Before that, Bhishma Pitamaha is in his Antima Smarana, that is in his last days of his life, last moments of his life. And Dharmaputra is really confused that whether to accept the throne or to go to the forest and live as an ascetic. Because here, Dharmaputra is really confused. Because I have killed so many people. Not me exactly, but not Dharmaputra here. He tells that for my sake, all of them have been killed. So, in order to be a king, the first quality is we have to protect the people. But in my case, I am the sole reason for all those deaths. So how can I accept the throne? For that, Krishna tells, you have to get clarification from Bhishma. Why Krishna is there, right? Krishna can't give clarification to Dharmaputra because Krishna gave clarification to Arjuna that you go and fight the war. Dharmadhi yuddhat shreyonyate kshatriyasya navidyate. That is the Upadesha given to Arjuna by Krishna. So why didn't Krishna try to give Upadesham or clarify Dharmaputra's doubt? Here it is beautifully told by Sridharacharya in his Tika for Bhagavatam. There he says in Sridhariyam, in this shloka, Vyasadhyaihi Ishvare Agnaihi Krishnena Adbhuta Karmana Prabodhito Apitihasaihi Na Budhyacha Sucharpitaha. In this shloka, it is beautifully interpreted by Sridharacharya that Krishnena Adbhuta Karmana. Krishna is a person who can do Adbhuta Karyas. That is, he can do things that we can't imagine. Such things can be done by Krishna. So what is that Adbhutam here is, when Dharmaputra came to Krishna to get remedy or to get relief from his confusion, Krishna was giving answers to Dharmaputra in such a way that if you see that the answers will be for his relief, but for Dharmaputra, those answers will be like it is increasing his confusion. That is what explained here. That he will be talking like to give relief to Dharmaputra, that you don't worry, you accept your kingdom. That is what Dharma is. So you are a Kshatriya, you have to fight war for your Dharma. So you have fought a Dharmic war, so you don't worry, you accept your kingdom. But those words in the heart of Dharmaputra, these words will be increasing his confusion so that Krishna feels that Dharmaputra should be taken to Bhishma and his clarification should be given there. Why? Because if a person is well versed in a particular field, the greatest thing that must be done by him to this society is he have to transfer the knowledge that he has having to another person before he leaves his life. That is the greatest thing that person can do to the society. So Bhishma has lived for such a long years and he has seen 4 to 4, 5, 6 generations of his family. And Bhishma Pitamaha knows all the dharmas in the world. So he is a library of dharma, he is an encyclopedia of dharma. So Krishna feels that by taking Dharmaputra to him, who is also interested in listening to dharmas. So person who is listening should also have interest in it, right? So Krishna thought that Bhishma is in his last stages of his life. So he is having a lots of knowledge about dharma, and it should be bestowed to someone else so that the dharma, knowledge of dharma will continue. So Krishna takes Dharmaputra to Bhishma Pitamaha, and these three people, one, the Ishwaran, who is Dharmasya Prabhu Achyutaha, he is standing in front of them, and two greats who know, who follow, and who know all the dharma are indulged in a conversation. That is the greatness that is being showed here in this Bhishma Stuti, the scenario. So Bhishma is there, Dharmaputra is there, and Krishna is listening to their conversation. What it is a trio who has been joined there, like we used to say Prayag, right? Prayag is actually a combination where a place where all the three rivers join, that is Ganga, Yamuna, and Antarvahanam of Saraswati. So these three rivers join there, and it is called Prayag. Likewise, this is called a Dharma Prayag, where the three people who are really the supreme when it comes to dharma. That one is Dharmasya Prabhu Achyutaha. Next is Dharma Vidam Sreshtaha, which is Bhishma. The third one is Yama Dharma Raja, Dharma Swarupam itself, that is Dharmaputra. So these three are joining together, and they are indulged in a conversation about dharma. So this what they conclude. This is the very essence of dharma, very essence of all the shastras. So finally, it is beautifully told here by Vyasa. He has combined everything, right? He has written Mahabharata, right? Finally, Bhishma Pitamaha and telling all the dharmas, Dana Dharman, Raja Dharman, Moksha Dharman, Vibhagashaha, Stri Dharman, Bhagavat Dharman, Samasa Vyasa Yogataha. He has told all the dharmas, Dana Dharma, Raja Dharma, everything he has told. And finally, Shutva Dharman Aseshena Pavanani cha sarvashaha Yudhishthiraha Shantanavam Punareva Abhyabhashata. Shutva Dharman Aseshena. He has not left even a single word. Asheshena means completely. So he has completely listened to all the dharma. Shutva Dharman Aseshena Pavanani cha sarvashaha. Pavanani means Prayachchitta Dharma. Prayachchitta Dharma, because we are following a dharmic path. We are following dharma, and if we have missed it or if we have come out of it, we have to do some prayashchitta, right? So for that prayashchitta dharma is also entirely told by Bhishma, and everything has been listened by Dharmaputra. So again he asked Punareva Abhyabhasha. So he has Ko Dharmaha Sarva Dharmanam Bhavatah Paramomataha, which we all know, which is in Vishnu Sahasranamam. So finally, in that trio, these three are there in that place, and it finally, the essence of all the dharma is told as Sri Vishnu Sahasranam. Finally, it comes and finishes there as Sri Vishnu Sahasranam. So the essence of all the dharma is Nama Sankirtan, is what is told by Veda Vyasa. This is the first, I feel, this is the first Nama Siddhanta, because Nama Siddhanta is later done by Sri Bhagavan Nama Bodhendral, which we all know, which has been taken from each and every Shastra where the greatness of Nama has been specified, and he does a Nama Siddhanta. But Veda Vyasa here itself in Mahabharata, he has done a Nama Siddhanta, that all the Shastras, all the Dharma in all the Shastras has been verified and spoken about by Bhishma and Dharmaputra, and finally they come to a conclusion that Yudhishthiraha Shantanavam Punareva Abhyabhashata. So what is the way for all the jivas, all the living beings, so to do which they, if they can't follow a dharma, Ko Dharmaha Sarva Dharmanam. So which dharma is the greatest dharma? So there Dharma Bhishma Pitamaha says that you have to, if you do Nama Sankirtan on Pundarikakshan, that is Krishna who is standing in front of us. So that is the essence of all the dharmas. So a Nama Siddhanta has been performed by Veda Vyasa, stage Veda Vyasa here itself, which has been taken again by Bhagavan Nama Bodhendral, and elaborate Nama Siddhantam is being done. But here in Bhishma Stuti, Bhishma, on speaking of all the dharmas in front of Dharmaputra and Krishna, he knows that because he is having Swachchanda Mrityu, he can decide when he wants to die. So that's why he has chosen Uttarayana Punya Kalam, and he is waiting for that stage. That is, Uttarayana Punya Kalam means not the position of the sun. Uttarayana Punyakala means he wants to see Bhagavan and he has to leave his life. So Bhagavan will be coming after crowning Dharmaputra only. So once the war is completed, he knows that Krishna will not come in between and come and give darshan to him. So he is waiting when Krishna will come. So Krishna comes in front of him, and Krishna is there in front of him, and his most favorite grandson, that is Dharmaputra, is there, and other grandsons are there. The Bhima, Arjuna are there. So so Bhishma feels that this is the right time to leave his life. He is having Krishna's darshan there, Antima darshan, last moments, and he does a stuti on Bhagavan, and he says, Itimati Rupakalpita Vitrishna Bhagavati Satvata Pungave Vibhumni Swasukhamupagate Kvachit Vihartum Prakritimupeyushi Yadbhava Pravaha. He says, Itimati Rupakalpita. I have a daughter. He says, Bhishma is a Naishtika Brahmachari. But if you consider here, for this shloka, Vyakhyanam has been given as Mati is a feminine word. It's a Strilinga word. So Bhishma is giving this his mind, that is, he is considering it as his daughter and giving this mind to Krishna. So the quality of this mind or his daughter is Vitrishna. He has come out of all his desires. There is no more interest in these worldly pleasures. Vitrishna. He has lost all the interest in these worldly things, and he has interest in only one thing, that is Krishna. So that Krishna, how that Krishna is Tribhuvanakamanam Tamalavarnam Ravikara Gauravarambaram Dadhane Tribhuvanakamanam. He is the most beautiful in the entire three worlds. Tamalavarnam, like how a Tamala Vriksham would be, Krishna's Varnam, that is, his colors in such a way, he's having a black complexion of, he's such a Neelamega Shyamala. So Ravikara, on that black complexion, he wears a Ravikara, that is the color of the sun. That is a Pitambara, which is yellow in color. Ravikara Gaura Varambaram Dhadane Vapuralaka Kula Vritananabjam Vijaya Sakhe Radirastume Anavadya. Since he has seen Krishna in the war field or in the battlefield, so he says Vapuralaka Kula Vritananabjam. So in Krishna's hair would come and fall like. So since it is falling off like this during the war, when Krishna moves his head in this direction and that direction, it comes and hits in his kapolam. Ravikara Gaura Vapur Alaka Kula Vritananabjam. So it comes and hits in his cheek. So he is explaining Krishna's Rupa in such a way, Vijaya Sakhe Ratirastume Anavadya. I always need bhakti towards you. Who he gains, he tells Arjuna's name also in each and every shloka because he has seen Krishna as Parthasarathi. So Vijaya Sakhe Ratirastume Aravatya. So in each and every shloka he explains the situation of the Yuddha, and he says, while starting the Yuddha, Arjuna lost confidence in fighting. He is thinking which is Dharma and which is Adharma, and in that battlefield he has come to such a situation where he leaves his Gandiva. He thinks these members in the opposite gang are my family members, and how can I kill them? Instead of killing them, I can go to the forest and live a life of a rishi. So he loses confidence in himself, and he tells Krishna that I can't fight. And Krishna, in such a situation, Kumatim Aharat Atma Vidyayaya, who gave him the Atma Vidya Jnanam, and you explained him in Bhagavad Gita. In such a situation, can anyone tell about the Atma Jnana? Because there is it's a big battlefield. There are several horses, there are several elephants which are giving sounds. They are all fighters, all people who are ready to engage in war. And in such a group of all Kshatriyas waiting for a war, Krishna, you are giving him lectures on Atma Vidya. Can anyone do so other than you? No one can do such a thing. And during the war, you have bestowed me with your darshan of Chakrapani in order to save my pratigna. That is, that you have taken your, you have left your pratigna that you will not be taking any ayudham, that is any, you will not participate in the war. And you told that you will just be a charioteer for Krishna, for Arjuna, but you have come into the war field by taking the chakra of that chariot itself and rushed towards me. That Rupam should always be in my heart, because you have to save my pratigna. That is, I will make you to take an I will make you to indulge in the warfare. I have made such a pratigna, and you told that, and in order to save my pratigna, you have lost your pratigna and come to war. So how much such a bhagyam or such a blessing for me, and you gave me darshan in such a state in the warfare. I cannot forget that thing. So again and again he remembers Krishna in those 10 days of warfare battlefield, and he finally says tamimamahamajam sharira bhajam hridi dishtitam atmakalpitanam pratidrishamiva naikadha arkamekam samadhikatosmi vidhuta bheda mohaha. There are several people here. I am seeing them as Arjuna. I am seeing this guy as Dharmaputra. I am seeing this guy as Kunti, this lady as Kunti, and each one have a separate name and form. But if there are 10 pots, each filled with water, and the sun is brightly shining in the sky, if you see those pots, the reflection of the sun will be there in those 10 pots. And if a small guy or a small child comes and sees that, it will be telling that there are 10 suns. Not like that, right? There is only one sun, and the reflection of that single sun is seen in all the 10 pots containing water. Likewise, we are getting indulged in such a way that we are seeing each and every individual as an individual body and having an individual name. But I am not seeing like that. I am seeing everything as your form. So yes, he explains in such a way, pratidrisham iva naikadha arkam ekam. Like single sun is seen as several suns because of its reflection in the water, in each containing present in each pot. Likewise, you are present in each and every jivatma, and you are the jivatma. And instead of understanding you, we are indulged in worldly things and worldly pleasures. I am not so like that, because he has attained that. Bhishma mentions here that he has attained that Nana and his Jnana, that he is seeing everything as Krishna. And finally, in front of Krishna, Bhishma Pitamaha lives his life, he attains his divine abode. So thereby, Kunti Stuti and Bhishma Stuti are completed. So now let us finish our lecture, and next I will continue with next week's in the second Saptaham, Prithu Charitram, that is on next Wednesday. Radhe Radhe. Opika Jeevanasmaranam Govinda Govinda Sadguru Maharaj ki Jai.
Gopika Jeevanaspannam Govinda Govinda Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai. ரொம்ப தேங்க்ஸ் கதார்ஜி, உங்க பிஸி ஸ்கெடியூல் இப்ப வந்திருக்கேள் ஜம்மன ரெண்டாவது பிரவச்சன் சத்சங்கத்திருக்கேள் ரொம்ப நல்லா இருந்தது. We were so enjoyed hearing us பாராயணம் on Stuti, and eagerly waiting for the next pravachan also next week. ரொம்ப தேங்க்ஸ். ரொம்ப உங்களுக்கு தேங்க்ஸ் சொல்ல மாட்டோம். நீங்க எங்க சத்சங் ஃபேமிலி ஆயிட்டல். நீங்க எங்க வெளில நீங்க உங்களுக்கு தேங்க்ஸ் அது ராதே தான். நீங்க எப்ப கூப்பிட்டாலும் வருவேல ஒரு இருக்கு இது இருக்கு. அதனால big ராதே to you. And namaskaram to Guru Maharaj, and we need just his blessings to have this continue the satsang as much as possible, and do the Parayanam and Pravachan. Thank you. Radhe
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Amma, continue, Amma.
Amma, continue.
Radhe Radhe. अद पंचस्कंदः प्रथमोऽध्यायः। ओं नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय श्रीकृष्णाय परमात्मने नमः। गुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। प्रियव्रतचरितं राजोवाच। प्रियव्रत भागवतात्मा राम कथं मुने गृहे अरमत यन्मूलः कर्मबन्धपराभवः न नूनं मुक्तसङ्गानां तादृशानां दिजर्षभा गृहेषु अभिनिवेशायां वेषोऽयं पुंसां भवितुमर्हति। महतां खलु विप्रक्षे उत्तमश्लोकपादयोः छाया निर्वृतचित्तानां न कुटुम्बे स्पृहामतिः। संशयोऽयं महान् ब्रह्मन् दारागारा सुधादिषु सक्तस्य यत् सिद्धरभूत कृष्णे च मदिरच्युता श्रीशुकोवाच बाणमुक्तं भगवद उत्तमश्लोकस्य श्रीमच्चरणारविन्द मकरन्दरस आवेशितचेतसः भागवत परमहंस दैतकथां किञ्चित् अन्तराय विहदां स्वां शिवतमां पदवीं न प्रायेण हिन्वन्ति यर्हि वावः राजन् स राजपुत्रः प्रियव्रत परमभागवतः नारदस्य चरणोपसेवया अञ्जसा